6.03, completing the square, part 2. Here are some notes for you to copy down on your paper. This is explaining the steps that we talked about in the previous lesson. You can pause it and copy the notes down if you want. Okay. So Model A. The main difference with today is that we're working with an odd number. The last assignment, assignment, I guess. Lesson. They were all even. So when we divided by an even number, we always got a whole number. Today we're going to have fractions. So we're still looking at the -5. We're going to take that and divide it by 2 and square it. So -5 over 2 squared. Okay, so this is going to equal -5 squared is 25. 2 squared is 4. So that's what we're adding to both sides. So we have x squared minus 5x equals 0. And we're adding, so we're adding 25 over 4 to both sides. Positive 24 over 4, positive 25 over 4. Now we proceed like we did the previous lesson. We're going to do a binomial squared. 0 plus 25 over 4 is simply 25 over 4. And then the number that goes in right here is half of this number. So it's x minus 5 over 2. Now we're going to solve for x. Cross off those. We're left with x minus 5 over 2. And actually, I don't need the parentheses. I'll erase those. Equals, whenever you have a square root on a fraction, you want to do the top and the bottom individually. Now, fortunately for here, both the 25 and the 4 can both be square rooted. So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 4 is 2. Plus or minus. Then we're going to add 5 halves to both sides. So these cancel out. What we're left with is x equals 5 halves plus minus 5 halves. So let's just do these one at a time. I'm going to erase the negative sign for a second. I'll put it back. 5 over 2 plus 5 over 2. To add fractions, we look at the denominator. If they are the same, we are good to go. So that stays the same. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 over 2 equals 5. We're going to do the other one. I'll do that one in blue. The subtraction. 5 halves minus 5 halves is simply 0. So our two answers are 5 and 0. Model B. It'll be a little more challenging. This time we have a 3 we need to deal with. So we're going to move that to the other side. So subtract 3 from both sides. Now we're going to proceed like we did before. Take our -9, cut it in half, and square it. -9 squared is 81. 2 squared is 4. That's what we're adding to both sides. Now let's deal with this real quick by itself. So I'm going to write that over here. Keep this all in green so we can see what I'm doing. Plus 81 over 4. We have a fraction in 81 over 4, and we have a whole number, -3. What is the denominator on -3? Well, it is 1. We're looking at the denominators now. Are they the same? The answer is they are not. To get the 1 to be a 4, we need to multiply this fraction by 4 over 4. Remember, 4 over 4 equals 1. So we're not changing the fraction. We're just rewriting it differently. Go back to green. 4 times -3 is -12. 4 times 1 is 4. Then 81 plus 4 is over here. -12 plus 81 equals 69 over 4. So that's what our equation will equal. And we can write our left side as a binomial squared. Remember, this term is going to always be this guy in here or that in half. So minus 9 over 2. And now we solve for our x. Square root both sides. Square root gone, squared gone. X minus 9 halves equals plus and minus our square root. Well, square root of 69 is a decimal, so we're going to leave that like that. But the square root of 4 is 2. So square root of 69 up top over 2. You notice these are written differently. Okay? My square root here is over the entire thing up here. In the bottom, it's only on the top. Okay? So just make sure you look at that notation and see how it's different. One last step. Add 9 over 2 to both sides. So 9 over 2 in front plus minus square root of 69 over 2. And we have two fractions here, and they have the same denominator. So we can rewrite that as one big fraction. 9 plus minus square root of 69 all over 2. And you can evaluate that if you want, put in a calculator, and you'll get a decimal for 69, and that way you can actually graph it. But for now, we're just going to leave that as our exact answer.